Okwezonu. Yeah. Oko nyamini, nyamini. Koko nyamini, nyamini. Koko nyamini, nyamini. Koko nyamini, nyamini. Ibole, ibole, ibobon, ndamamihe. Ibole, ibole, ibobon, ndamamihe. Ebulanyelu, 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 ebulanyelu. Anamabara na ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke. Anamabara nụ n'ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke. Igbo bụ ndị ike, ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike, ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike, ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike. Koko nyamini, nyamini.
Otite niile dịrị Chineke, ọbasi dị elu, Chukwu obiọma, Chidi ebere, Olisa nwa amara, ka ụzọ anyị niile ọbụla niile bụrụ ihe, ka ihe ọbụla metụrụ aka ka ọ bụrụkwa ahụ mma mma, ka ụwa niile site n'ozi ọma anyị a nwụsa obi aṅụrị taa na mgbe niile ebighị ebi. Ọfọ ya gazie ise o. Chineke ọbasi dị elu, anyị na-ekele gị n'ụbọchị taa, na-ekele gị maka na anyị ma na ife ọbụla kpatara aka n'aha gị ha gara ya ọgụ nzu. Nnụnụ adịghị efe akụ isi osisi, ọla anyị niile dị, ọla anyị dị na Chiist University, ọbụla anyị dị na program a anyị na-eme bụ Chiism Live. Chineke onwe ife ọjọọ dị anyị n'ifu dị anyị n'azụ, nọrọ n'aka ekpe, nọrọ n'aka ndị, nọrọ n'elu, nọrọ n'ala. Chineke biko gwopịa onye kere ụwa ụbọchị taa ha aka ụnyaahụ. anyị na-ekele gị maka ụnyaahụ bata ụbọchị taa ga-aka mma, echi ga-aka mma. Ife ọbụla kpatara aka ọ ga-agara anyị ọgụ nzu. Anyị na-ekpe ekpere Chineke sị ndị obi dara mba Chineke biko nyewe obi aṅụrị, ndị ahụ adịghị Chineke biko mee ka ahụ sie ha ike. Anyị na-atụkwasị gị obi onye kere ụwa maka na anyị ma ọ bụghị onwe ihe a gara anyị n'ụwa. Anyị na-ekpe ekpere tee n'ọrụ anyị onye kere ụwa site ugbu a ruo mgbe na-ebighị ebi. Ọfọ ya gazie ise o. Ndewonu ka awọ.
Thank you, Dibias, Yudi Onyoha. Thank you for that wonderful, warm prayer. Ndewonu, titeni lediri Chineke. We want life. We pray for good health. And as long as you have breath, as long as you're here, we know that you're okay. We know that you're being blessed. We know that your blessings are overpouring. So here we are. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Dibias Chotraja, Dr. Onyoha Simri. I am so happy today. You know, I tell you one thing. You have to describe your day. You have to say what your day has to be like. You can't allow anything or anybody to describe it, because once things, circumstances, principalities start to describe your day, you're going to start having a difficult time. So I'm going to have a good day. I hope everyone is doing very well wherever you are, and that the grace of Chineke is loving you beyond your wildest expectations. Every day is a good day to redefine the vision that you have for your life. What is your vision? You know, most of us just walk through life, you know, taking it one day at a time. No, don't take anything one day at a time. What you want to do is define a vision that you can follow each and every day. And whatever that vision is, God will supersize it. Though your aspirations may not be so imposing, maybe even small, but Chineke tends to ensure that you get more than you bargained for. But you see, in your mind, you have to believe that you got what you're looking for, or at least you're going to get it. Because once you see it, you can manifest it into reality. So my vision personally is a world where the African is respected and contributions are recognized. We've done so much in the world, but I don't think that we are recognized for it. And I don't suppose I'm telling you something you don't already know. But we have a responsibility to make the world see us, Afurunge, see us for who we are, recognize us as people who are invaluable to humanity because we've contributed so much. That is my vision. And that is the vision of Chiist Mahadum. We are a contribution, a serious contribution to the world. This is what we're trying to do. Today, we are going to talk about Chiist University because it's important that we do so. We're going to pick little aspects of what it means to attend Chiist University and just dissect it and have a conversation of it. There are 5 good reasons why to attend Chiist University, and we're going to be talking about that. I love the word Mahadum, though. Chiist Mahadum. So now somebody did ask me, how are you accredited? I think that people need to understand accreditation is not mandatory. The only reason why you need accreditation is so that you have access to additional funding, federal dollars, and all of that. A lot of private schools don't require that because it allows them to sustain themselves through other means and to also ensure that the university or the school, whatever, represents exactly what they want it to represent without the influence of the outside world, without the influence of the accreditation organizations. But we are accredited through Chiist Higher Learning Commission. The Chiist Higher Learning Commission is a part of our constitution, okay, as established by the founder, Keoke Onyoha, founder of Chiism, Godianism. The CHLC, which is Chiist Higher Learning, the abbreviation for Chiist Higher Learning Commission, is responsible for the development and promotion of African educational and spiritual institutions. Chiist Mahadum is such an institution, And it is the responsibility not of anybody else, but the Chiist Higher Learning Commission, which is, like I said, a part of our constitution, to design the program as we see necessary to promote African spiritual philosophy of Chiism. We all have other educational organizations that are under consideration for development, which is the Tribal Medical Center, which will be right where Ahai Keokeonyo is from, Nkuru. And also the Obi Obase, which is the spiritual building where we have our spiritual gathering. That will be built in Nigeria, but here as well. That is our goal. That is our hope. The Chiist Holy Book, the Nkomi, will be released in April 2024 when this school officially opens. So once the door is open, you can start ordering the book. We felt that the importance of this book will be recognized with the launching of the university and not before then. Now, many people have been inquiring, where can they get this book? Where they can get this book? Well, once the university is launched, opens its doors, April 2024, it can be purchased via the university portal at that time. So I'm very excited about that. So the question is, what is the benefit of attending a spiritually focused university? Why is that even relevant? Why do we want to do that? Well, Chiist University, Chiist Mahadum, is a spiritually focused university that emphasizes the spiritual principles of Chiism, Godianism, of live and let live. And that has universal ramifications, live and let live. Not focused on exclusive truth, but certainly our truth as we know it, with universal application. The Mahadum, though with an affiliation with Chiism, also welcomes students from all liturgical variations. So you can be any religion and still attend Chiist University. Though the Mahadum is smaller than the larger public universities, the benefit of going to this school is that it encourages a great deal of relevance on African spiritual thought. And that is immeasurable. That is what many African students are missing. So today we are going to be talking about these specific reasons for attending Chiist Mahadum. And the person that's going to be helping me, joining me at this time, will be no other than Dibias Ochwaja Yudi Onyoha. Dibias Ndewo.
Ndewo. Every day above ground is a good day. This is an exciting topic. I'm good. I'm good. I hope everyone is fine as well. How are you doing?
Well, I am doing so good.
Great.
I'm doing so good.
Yeah, you look good.
Here's the one thing. Thank you very much. I'm trying to keep up with you. I don't want to embarrass you as your sister.
Don't even try to. Don't switch up on me now. It's too late for that. You're the one that is brightening up the screen, not me. So let's just forget the politics and trying to make me feel good. We know who got the looks around here. Certainly it's not me. So
well, bless you. I receive your compliments. I receive it. Thank you. Now, one of the things that Dibias, that is important about attending a spiritually focused university such as the Mahadum is because we teach at the university is appropriate for those people who are concerned about moral and ethical values. Okay, and they want to carry those with them. In other words, what those moral teachings that you're getting from the Mahadum, you are going to take with you. It's kind of different from regular universities or secular universities, because sometimes people make decisions not based on any moral or ethical values, and they make poor choices. Some of them get into, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but if you lack ethical and moral values, as your guiding principles for whatever you do. That's why some people, young people get into alcohol and drugs, and they do those things that are not in the best interest of not just them, but society. So many spiritual organizations such as ours, we have, when you register, you will see what our code of conduct is. Now, the code of conduct is not supposed to be stifling. It's supposed to be uplifting. It's supposed to be something that if you practice it, if you carry it with you, it will really serve you very, very well. So you're going to see the code of conduct for our teachers, our students, and indeed, of course, the teachers. Okay. Now, there may be some other schools that have their own code of conduct that is strict, but spiritual organizations do have to have that, because when all is said and done, it's those principles that are supposed to guide the students in their work, and hopefully when they graduate from the university. So, Yudi, what are your thoughts on that?
Well,
Yudi, can you hear me?
To me, it's really about national identity. That's what it really boils down to. Religion as a salient part of nationalism. It is funny that we have a lot of schools, Black universities or institutions of higher learning, that are not focused on African nationalism and using African spirituality as a unifying force, for the general community, but also as a way of indoctrinating people of African ancestry, particularly the young ones, into having a sense of national identity, and also a way of demonstrating, why Africa needs its own religious philosophy as a unifying force or umbrella for African global communities, when the interest of our global African communities is at stake. There are certain tenets that, as people of African ancestry, that we need to instill in our children. And one of the most important aspects of Pan-African thought is cultural consistency, a uniformity in the African community, both in the motherland and in diaspora, where we think a certain way and act a certain way, particularly when the interest of people of African ancestry is at stake. Other cultures do it. And it is important to be grounded in your spiritual culture as a way of educating people, where you basically have a sense of national identity. You're truly educated in tenets and things that are primordial to you, so that you could have a level of self-realization. The saying, human know thyself. That's the call of education. And this is what we're trying to establish at Chiist Mahadum. It is only in relation to the traditional spirituality of your race that education has any meaning. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have. It's not really that important, right? That's just academics. Mm-hmm. But if you're ignorant of the spirituality of your race, which is the fulcrum around which the totality of human culture gyrates, then you're simply literate, but not truly educated and alienated into the cultural vineyards of other people. Let me repeat this. Human, know thyself. That's the call of education. And this is what we stress here at Chiist Mahadum, to be able to have graduates that are self-fulfilled, that understand who they are, where they came from, their contributions to civilized behavior, why we're in the condition that we're in today, and how we could get out of it by putting together, through Chiist University, cultural and economic revitalization. And cultural and economic revitalization has several steps that we need to pay attention to, as educators, which right now we're not doing in any of the so-called Black universities, which we are all aware it's not entirely focused on people of African ancestry. You know, you can talk about Black University and, you know, the HBCUs, the universities in Nigeria and all that, but not one of these universities is dedicated to people of African ancestry the world over. So we need such institutions as Chiist Mahadum. And I'm very confident that this beginning, this first attempt to achieve that, it's not going to be the only one. I am confident that as time moves on, African people will begin to realize the importance that culture and your religious culture plays in ethnic identity, national identity, and how religion is a pillar of cultural identity. Without religion, without being immersed in the primordial religious culture of your people, you lose yourself. You lose your identity. You will never be in a position where you feel that you have something to flaunt. So, this attempt with Chiist Mahadum to educate students about the importance of culture and how it plays a role in cultural and economic revitalization, teaching our students their responsibility to the African community globally, and how coalescing around religious culture that is primordial to you serves as the best defense against imperialism. That's what we're all about here in Chiist Mahadum, and that's what we hope to accomplish.
And thank you, Dibia Yudi. And the key thing you just hit there is that as you attend this university, if you have not embraced the cultural values of African spirituality, you will develop that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you will stop being whatever your religion is, but it just means that those values that we have pretty much abandoned, you understand, you're going to pick it up and you're going to see the value in it, and you're going to start even applying it in your own life, regardless of what, you know, your spirituality is. You know, that's why we say that people of different liturgical variations can attend as well. But those values that we have ridiculed historically by other people, you know, will be presented to you in a way that you can take pride in it. You can really feel really good about being who you are, who you were blessed to be. I want to say hello to Dibias Dozier. How are you? Can you hear us?
I'm fine.
Okay, Manu Cow. I just want to. I just want to say something right quick to the point that you were making. Okay, Dibia. We encourage people to attend Chiist University, Chiist Mahadum, not just encouraging people of African ancestors to do it, but encouraging other nationalities, other cultures to attend Chiist Mahadum, because this way all the misconceptions about African spirituality, all the misconceptions about our standing in this world and what we've contributed to civilized behavior from the dawn of civilization, it helps to create an understanding from other cultures, so that when you look at Africans, you just don't look at us as these minimized people. You can at least look at us from a point of reference that espouses our greatness, the greatness that has always been us, and things that we've done in this world to arrive at where we are today. So it promotes this relationship with all the cultures, where whether I attend Brandeis University, a Jewish university, or as an African, I attend a Hindu university or whatever, it gives me a great perspective in understanding natural theology and why exclusive truth in religion is unacceptable, my way or the highway. It creates or fosters an understanding, cross-cultural pollination, if you will. So that way, when you look at
Yes.
not just people of African ancestry and their religious culture, but you're able to understand religious cultures of all human communities all over the world. And that will foster cooperation, understanding, and hopefully a world without religious wars.
That's right there, right there. Thank you, thank you. You know what they say?
Did you
get that?
It's true.
Yeah. You can't be so good at talking about other people. You know, I've got this PhD. Yeah, I got PhD and all of that. But I tell you, the most pride I have is PhD in my own tradition. Okay, that is, if you, that's why they ask you, you talk about other people, but nobody knows nothing about you. This is what Chiist Mahadum is trying to bring to the fore. This is who we are. This is what we did. This is what we can do. This is what we have to offer. We're not marginalized. We're not people of no consequence. We're not inconsequential. The knowledge that we've given to the world, we're just going to reserve it. Since some people want to forget, we want to reserve it so the world can see it, eat it, and drink it and swallow, because it is time.
Yes, it is.
Dibias, we were talking about the value, one of the values of Chiist University, which is because we are able, Chiist University allows us to focus on our ethical and moral values. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you don't say, because what you said is just succinct. Because all that we've been writing about, our nationalist pride, theorized about Zikiwe, Nkrumah, Nyerere, Kaunda, all that we theorize, and all that the African writers have theorized: decolonization, Afrocentrism, Pan-Africanism, all of these decolonization. This is the practical way through it. Before Chiist University, that's the Chiist Mahadum University, what we have been doing is shout, talk, no action. And my theory has always been, if we want to actualize what we are, talk about, for instance, the Africanness of African philosophy, the Africanness of African spirituality, the Africanness of the African, addressing the problem of the strange African personality, the problem of self-retrieval. We have been talking about these, right? We've written them in the books, but we have not had a place we can teach it, we can act it. Chiist Mahadum University afforded that opportunity, because what we require most is not a political space. What we require is an intellectual space that will mold the political, mold the educational, mold the economic. And this intellectual space will be properly seated, anchored on African spirituality. Just like we say, some of us say here in the University of Lagos, we talk about solid state philosophy. And what we mean by solid state philosophy is that even the philosophies and all that we've been writing about Africa, how African are they? Because to the extent that we are immersed, involved in the spirituality of our people, that is to the extent we understand what it means to be African. I remember while talking with, we went for research at the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. We met Professor Ume, and he was lamenting, just like when I met Wande Abimbola. Wande Abimbola was also lamenting that most of what we call Igbo, Yoruba, African, they are not. Because when you are not into your spirituality, you don't know how far, you don't know your people's spirituality, you don't know Ordinala, you are not practicing it. It's not just about knowing it, you are not a practitioner. So the immersion, the spirituality, that life force that it requires for you to be in tandem, to get information from the ancients, the ancestors. Last time we talked about the ancestors, why we need to venerate them, because they pass on knowledge to us through revelation. But if we are not close to our spirituality, to what extent are we Africans? So you find that African studies is just for us as scholars to earn dollars. And that's why here, once one of us gets the opportunity in Germany, in Europe, any part of Europe, America, Asia, we will become very, very possessive. We will lock out other people, and only us will do, only that individual will do chop and clean out. But one finger cannot make all the fingers. One finger cannot make all the fingers. Neither can a tree make a forest. So we need a space where we talk with our thing, we do our thing, try to reenact our ancestral spiritual foundation in contemporary terms. Because there's no way we can live like our ancestors the way they did, because they didn't have Android, satellite, internet. And so, but we are trying, using contemporary tools, to cultivate and recultivate what our ancestors did, so that we can explain them in contemporary terms, so that they can meet up with contemporary challenges. This is the opportunity Chiist Mahadum University affords us, so that we can do African studies and do research from the African perspective based on autochthonous indigenous African spirituality. We project it. And the African, whether we have taken to Christianity or Islam, we will imbibe the African spirituality of integration, of live and let live, of Ofonogu. And like I used to tell people, we are the ones that hold the key to perpetual world peace. Christianity and Islam don't have the key, because they said for the Christianity and for Islam, it is only one dominant way to the Almighty. And whoever does not concur with that dominant way is an infidel, is not born again, is cast out of heaven. Now, the African, long ago, before Christ, even before time, the African said the only way, our ancestors said the only way to resolve this matter of the Almighty is one Almighty, but many ways. But in these many ways,
I love that.
But in these many ways, humanity will be enshrined in them. So if you look at all the traditional institutions, which today they refer to as cults, Ahmadiyya is traditional institution, it's not a cult. Alpha, Dibias, and all that, they are all traditional institutions, they are not cults. But because they have been pushed aside by colonization, they made them cults, and they became repugnant. So these traditional institutions, if you enter into them, before I entered, I began to enter, or I entered and I taking more initiation. I didn't understand what it meant. But when I entered, I don't know why it was very difficult to derail in traditional Africa, because you are given the template of humanity, self-restriction, moderation, Ofonogu. You are brought up on it. You are brought up to know that you are not the only way, the only one in the world. Complementarity. You are brought up to know that and that it is not only human beings, other animals, and people, that we are part of nature. Nature surpasses us. So all these things they are teaching us in eco phenomenology, ecosystem, Earth Summit. They want to save the world. If we go it the African way, we will not have arrived at the point of trying to save the world or save the earth. We will have been living in harmony with ourselves and with nature. So We cannot exhaust the importance of Chiist Mahadum University. We cannot exhaust it, not now, but it is something that as we keep teaching, it will keep unfolding. I hold it for now.
Okay, man.
You know, I came on in 1976 when he, I believe in UD, correct me if I'm wrong.
78.
When he addressed,
1978.
1978, when he addressed the United Nations, the topic of conversation then was disarmament. It was the disarmament peace talk. You know, how do we bring peace to the world? You know, the world is just full of hate. The wars. Look at before I even say what he said, but when you look at what's going on in Israel and the Palestinian, why is the solution murder? Why is the solution killing? Why do my way or the highway? Why can't we live together? See, if you had the values, if you had this values in place, if we are teaching people such values, Madubuchibe, we are God to each other, that we should love each other, live and let live. There's no reason for those bombs to be raining. As a matter of fact, we've killed so many, and then we are poised to go into the Gaza Strip for more what? What's going to happen when you get into the Gaza Strip? More deaths. More deaths. The Jews and the Christians and the Muslims, they can't get along. What exactly are the values that they are preaching? We need to return back to what the ancestors said. Live and let live. Live and let live. Udo dere. Udo biri kam biri. Udo derege. Udo derem. Sankofa. Return back to the source. Ubuntu. I am because you are because of me. Without you, I'm nothing at all. Those are African principles. But even the Africans who are warring against each other, it wasn't like that before. It's the introduction of all these foreign concepts, values. You remember historically, to find a man who is the strongest in the village, you have wrestling matches. The one that is not the one that kills the most, that everybody lifts up, is the one that, he'll bring you down, but he doesn't have to kill you through a simple wrestling match. I'm not saying, those are things you wish will come back. But right now, everything is kill, kill, kill. His Holiness, Ahai Kilkonyo, has said, let us redefine civilization. What we're doing is not civilized behavior. What we're doing is uncivilized. The way that you can define yourself as a civilized society is your ability to live with your fellow man and defend his right to survive, to exist. When you can live with your fellow man without killing, then you will get the recognition for your country as the most civilized nation. Right now, we identify the most civilized nations as the ones with the biggest warheads, nuclear warheads.
Uncivilized.
The biggest guns. The biggest soldiers. This is what we call civilized. And those who don't have that arsenal, those who don't believe in killing, those are not civilized. Chiist Mahadum, what I'm excited about it is the fact that as you're studying, you are relearning, you're being reconditioned to think as an honorable human being, how to relate to your fellow man. It's not about your technological know-how. It's not just about developing economic opulence because of your education. It's your ability to use what you learn to civilize the world, to civilize your community, to help the world to rethink what's important. I have to just share this. I said, this African country, they don't have military. What do they need it for? What is the military for? But to kill. They say it's to defend. But in your defense, what are you doing? To defend, you got to kill somebody. You have to take some lives. You have to scare somebody to death or kill them. That's when you're powerful. But we need to rethink how we live, how we coexist. What we're doing right now is not working, never will work. And that is the power of the Mahadum. Now, one more thing is I just want to remind people who we are. There are several individuals who are not here today, but Dibia UD is the dean for Chiist education, and he's going to have other instructors who are going to be working in his department. So he's the one that's going to really teach you about Chiism. And then Dibia Dozier is the head of Dean of African Culture and African History. And then he has his team of individuals that will be lecturing with him. Then we have, I'm the president and chancellor of the university, but temporarily I am going to be the dean for natural theology. Obi Onyoha is the dean for what is she again? She's the dean for leadership. Okay, so she has her own team. Then we have the Department of Igbo Linguistics. We're going to be expanding, but these are the first. I've gotten quite a bit of interest, people who want to teach so many different things, but we just want to start with what we have right now. And as we go along, we'll start teaching more and more. So it's really quite exciting to be a part of this. And for those of you, just recently, we have 2 new enrollment officials that we're going to bring into that we brought into the team. So I'm excited about that. We'll introduce them next time. But nonetheless, here's another topic that I want to raise, why it's so important to graduate from a university. I always say, and those who ask me, what would they do with it? What would they do with this kind of education? Now, they're saying it in a very positive light, because what they have thus far, some of them already have a PhD. It's not getting them emotionally, spiritually, what they want. One of the things that we are educating people at the Mahadum, it's not for you to go and necessarily go and get a job in a Fortune 500. Now, we're not interested in that. Okay, we want you to be that Fortune 500. We want you to create that opportunity for your own people. We want you to lift up with that Chiist Mahadum education. You go into the society and you lift up your people, whoever your people may be, whoever they may be, because your mindset is a little bit different. It's not just focused on how much money. It's not just on self. You know, it's also encourages you to do charitable acts. Okay, and you get access to all the different local and global programs, you know, that allows you to reach out to a different range of people. You know, you may have the opportunity to the dean, the curriculum may require that you even travel, okay, to another country, or you may travel that you do some kind of volunteer work anywhere. So our role here is to offer you service learning opportunities, okay, so that you'll be able to help others, the underprivileged, you know, people who live in your community. You learn how. Now, that doesn't mean you can't make money doing that. Of course you can. But try making that money within your communities. You can make money with cultural things, with cultural schools. You can set up a cultural school yourself when you graduate. You can learn some different arts. There's just so much that allows you to stay within your community or to reach out outside of your community into diverse backgrounds and be the cause and the reason for the upliftment of your society. So a spiritually focused university comes with the benefits of letting you give back to others, giving back. And also it helps you to retain your moral, your ethical values. And if you don't know what they are, then this offers you the opportunity to reenact it into the present and be it. Instead of talking about it, be about it. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just thinking about what you said. Very well said.
Thoughts?
Okay, Dibias. I couldn't have put it any more succinctly than you did. Let me be clear. Our objective is to improve the opportunity for African students to learn from cultural dictates that promote the higher critical thinking. Thinking processes necessary for nation building, or should I say nation formation, nation building, and nation management. Attending Chiist Mahadum, we believe that education serves the society best when its graduates are able to utilize the information acquired to uplift their communities. Our goal is not to graduate students so that you're going to get jobs, right? It's not a graduate from Chiist Mahadum, then go get a job. Yes, you get a job, but instead, our goal is to graduate nation builders and entrepreneurs. Like you mentioned before, there's a lot of relevance in culture. A lot of relevance. The biggest economic engine in the world is tourism. Okay. And talking about Chiist Mahadum and an African-centered education, let me give you an example. I once knew a person that she was an urban planner. And then through this very simple process of realizing the importance of culture, tourism, and architecture. She's an urban planner. She decided to form a company that promotes African-centered designs in architecture, understanding that architecture plays a role in cultural identity. So as opposed to building houses with, cement blocks and all that, she put together a community of architects that design African, or should I say, African-centric buildings, beautiful buildings. If you go to China, you see the pagoda, the roofs are shaped a certain way. There are certain architecture buildings that identify a particular culture, a particular people in the most grandiose sense of it all. So by putting together a community of architects, they're able to design African-centered buildings, skyscrapers. When you look at them, you automatically say to yourself, that building must be from Africa. That's an African-centered building. That building, identifies certain aspects of African culture, spirituality, or what have you. She understood that architecture is a way of building national identity. So without really attending Chiist Mahadum, but affiliating with Chiism, as an urban planner, she understood that and then formed a company and now has a community of architects that design buildings that are African-centered in their format, in the way they look, so that just like you can recognize a pagoda from China or the Great Walls or the Taj Mahal in India or the Vatican in Rome, where architecture identifies geography. She created a community of architects and builders whose sole purpose is to design African-centered buildings to be able to uplift, to be able to have, for people to have a different conversation when it comes to African architecture, where it's not just about the huts that you see, but you could make a hut look grand, like Shaka Zulu's hut or something, a kraal. You could build a skyscraper building that has aspects of African spirituality and culture infused in this architecture. Create a level of national identity based on architecture where people can travel from all over the world to come to Africa, just like you go to Dubai, to marvel at the skyscrapers that is nothing new, except that they are taller in Dubai and in China than most other places. But it's the same architecture. The buildings all look different and all that, but none of the architectures that you see in skyscraper building really identifies a specific place. Now you can talk about the Tower of Pisa being the tallest building at some point, blah, 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 blah. You can talk about the pyramids in Egypt that identifies the culture and the people around there, and it has a history. It's an architectural monument. But once you see the pyramids, you know exactly where it comes from. Mm-hmm. In in eastern part of Nigeria, around Abreba, there's this architectural form called Nsude pyramids. They were hundreds and hundreds of years old until the Europeans colonized Nigeria and they demolished a whole city of Nsude pyramids. If you go on the internet, you will see old photos. The last photos were taken in 1931. So the point here is attending Chiist Mahadum allows you to infuse yourself in African culture, African tenets, African ways of doing things, understanding our contributions to civilized behavior, that there is nothing that the world seems to want to present to Africans as civilizing behavior that we didn't already have. By attending Chiist Mahadum, you get to understand the contributions we made to world culture, in economics, in medicine, in spirituality, in engineering, in mathematics. You get to see our primordial contribution and understand that we, as people of African ancestry, have always been capable of original thought. Right now, that notion is lost in our so-called African universities, HBCUs here in the United States, simply because of the fact that we don't have any institution of national learning. There's no Mahadum that is, that articulate our contribution to civilized behavior and also our collective frustration as we deal with the misconceptions and the misunderstanding of people of African ancestry all over the world, to the point where we are not only demonized as a race of people, but demonized as a spiritual culture, where some of us as Africans believe that Africans knew nothing about Chineke, the creator, until the Abrahamic religions came to our shores with the Quran or the Bible in tow. I just want to make one last point right quick. And this is something that I don't know if most people think about it, but I'm sure that, okay, Dibia, you and Dibia Chidozie will back me up on this. But research tells me that there has never really been any spiritual culture out there that set out to invade its neighbor just to establish a religion. The only examples that I can think of are Abrahamic religions, where, as Dr. Dibia Chidozie had mentioned earlier, where Christianism tells you that only through Christ can you have a relationship with the Almighty Creator, with Chineke. And the Muslims tell you that Muhammad was the last messenger of God. Everything runs through Muhammad. Without a recognition of Muhammad, there'll be no 72 virgins for you when you die as a man and go to heaven. I'm still trying to figure out what women are going to get when they die. The women are Muslims too. What are they going to get when they get up there? But that's for another show. And then you talk about Judaism that believes that the Jews were God's chosen people and the rest of us are goats to be herded, or cows, cattle to be herded any kind of ways. We're here to serve you. The Asians are here to serve you. The Africans are here to serve you. Everybody that is not part of the Abrahamic religious circle is here to serve you. So you use words like heathen and pagan and all that to make yourself feel superior to other religious cultures. African spirituality doesn't see human beings as being exclusive when it comes to cultures that is influenced by geography. Dibia Chidozie mentioned it in his summation earlier on. One God is an African idea, but there are many ways to get to this Chineke. And it is a personal journey. Mona Chiso, Madubuchibea, Monachiso. I walk with the Almighty Creator. My relationship with the Creator is a personal thing. We have religious philosophy, but we didn't have organized religion. We didn't have religious institutions that preach exclusive truth, my way or the highway. We didn't leave our borders. We didn't live in Boro and then go to Cameroon to invade Cameroon to establish Chiism. The Europeans did that. Enslaved, colonized to establish Christianism and then use it as a tool for subjugation. The Muslims did that. As a matter of fact, before the first black slave ended up in Europe, the Muslims had already traded 40 million Africans into slavery. So this idea of slavery and all that, you know.
So in effect,
go ahead. What did you say?
I'm sorry. In effect, what we're saying is that religion has been used as a wedge by other religious organizations against each other, which is not necessary. Everybody has the right, you know,
and also as
everybody has the right to go to God in the way they understand. You know?
Yes, and the idea of using religion as a tool for subjugation, colonization, and not understanding that the relationship that we owe to our fellow human beings is just the idea that
that's right.
Chineke is a personal thing, and we should all be able to see God in the way we understand best, regardless of what your creed or color is.
That's right. I want anybody who wants to attend Chiist Mahadum to understand we're not saying that your religion is wrong, because our goal is not to change your religion. We're not here to change you from being whatever you want to practice, because when all is said and done, we teach the fact that you have options. You know, so whatever your options are, you know, it's up to you. But what we're saying, however, is that we need to reclaim the values. And Dibias was just saying that we never went to wars. We never went to wars over religion. How wonderful would that be if we never do that again? How wonderful would that be if we did? See, the problem is that a lot of the other religions are based on value system not necessarily intended to expand your capacity to work with others, but your capacity to focus on the doctrines that you're being given and live within those doctrines that do not allow you to expand your mind and see the world beyond the book and all those sorts of things. What Chiism is saying, it starts with this whole premise. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, the Creator is. God, whatever you call God. And that means that you are okay. You're okay. We're starting from the same footing, on the same footing. You're okay because God is where you are. Now, God could be however you want to get to that God. Dibias said, one God, different ways. But don't allow your way to then determine that your way is the best way. And that's usually what's causing all these wars. Because if we don't do it your way, then we can't get to God. If you come to my home and you want to go to the kitchen, there you can go through the hallway to the right, or you can go through the dining room. It'll still get you to that kitchen. If I say, oh, no, you can't take this route, and you look at it and say, well, there's nothing wrong with the hallway. Why can't I use the hallway? That's when the argument starts. If I say, no, you can't go through the hallway. You must go through the garage door. I mean, you must go through the dining room. Namdi, what are you going to ask me? What's wrong with the hallway?
Yep.
That's when the argument starts, because the hallway is not blocked. You can get to the kitchen from there. It's a simplistic anecdote. But the bottom line is this. We need to get in the habit of reevaluating those things that held us together, held our societies together. And we are excited that by joining, by attending Chiist Mahadum, you get to do research, like Chiist said. You do research, African research. You find out a whole lot more about yourself and who you are. Okay, we've lost him. Okay, there's another. I want to read something here that hopefully that'll give him time, because I wanted him to comment on this. Something that was written by Akachi. I'm trying to read it here. Okay. She says, consistently since antiquity, when Africans educated to civilize Arabs and Europeans, they used their knowledge of our cultural practices and knowledge against Africans to invade, enslave, and innovate tools of oppression. How does Chiist Mahadum plan to address what seems to be a particular envy of African progress and success when educating non-Africans from groups with a track record of betrayal? Dr. Chik Diop, African Origins of Civilization. Well, you know what? Very important questions that she asked. Okay, a lot of you have to understand when these people came to Africa. Let me bring back Dibias. Dibias, I'm going to refer this particular question to you. Did you hear?
Yeah, I heard what you.
Okay. Did you hear what Akachi asked? Because you are the head of Department of African History and Culture, I want you to
sure.
Did you hear what did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
I'm That's how we do it.
To put it on the screen. I'm going to put it on the screen.
Yeah.
And you can read it.
You know, I'm using my phone, so the alarm came up. Yeah, so I think I heard what you read. The thing there is that this is a question that I have addressed in one of my write-ups. I think I titled it "The Kemetic Civilization and its Contemporary Relevance to its Contemporary Relevance." And there I talked about the different orientation of what exists in North Africa, the invasion of North Africa by the different strands of people, but eventually the Almoravids took it over from the 9th century. And then from there, invaded the Sudan, that's the African side of the Sahara, taking Ghana by the 10th century, Mali by the 13th century, and Soga by the 15th century. Then I looked at the different orientations. While our orientation is that of live and let live, which encourages symbiosis, their orientation is that of a parasitic and saprophytic relationship. The other is seen as an antagonist. And so we, by our methodology, we use the methodology of complementarity, hermeneutics. That's the mentality of live and let live. They operate by the mentality of dialectics, seeing the opposite as an antagonist. We see the opposite as a complement, a complementary angle, but they see the other as an antagonist that must be subdued. But we want to live in harmony with the other. So the question is that, like we said on this program in the past, I think sometime early this year, was it last year? Anytime these two cultures meet, the culture that's accommodating always end up losing to the culture that is domineering. So the question is, how do we survive? The way we survive is to do some things that nations like China has done, developing their spirituality. India too, okay? Although they too themselves now, they realize that Africans are gullible, and because of world threat, they are living in the midst of a world where people must preach their culture. So they too are spreading their cultures in different ways. The Indians are using religion and films. The Chinese are using so many other ways. Now, their culture is that I am not going to dominate you, but I'll be so strong enough for you not to be able to dominate me. One thing that made it easy for us to be dominated was that when we were at the point of building large empires, they had already attained the culture of vandalism. Let's not forget how we came to be where we are. Egypt was consistently invaded. And after about the 1000th invasion, Egypt began to capsize. And that enabled the Macedonians to take it. Later, the Romans, the Greeks first took it, the Macedonians, then the Romans, and later on the Arabs, who are the present-day occupiers. Now, the Europeans, in the Berlin conferences of 1884-85, was told by Otto von Bismarck, the policeman of Europe, that they did not fight among themselves. There were other civilizations that were less violent than Europe, and these civilizations are peaceful and they have large resources. So why not transfer their aggressions towards those other parts of the world? Of course, they tried out Asia, and Indians were the first to be taken as slaves to the Americas. But when the Indians got there and they saw the dehumanization of their dignity, so they asked themselves, how do we make the trade unprofitable for the traders? They say, if we are not alive to work, then they will not find it profitable to trade in us. So what the Indians did was enlarge. On a large group, they killed themselves, just like the similar thing that happened in Igbo land. A group of Igbo slaves decided that they would make the trade unprofitable by killing themselves en masse. And once you make the trade, yes, you have to pay a price if you want freedom. Now, I'm not saying that that is what we are going to adopt, but we need, that is why we are talking about Chiist Mahadum, so that we can build consciousness beyond our ethnic, national borders, and build a consciousness that enables us to live as a group and make each unit as powerful as possible. Because like Sun Tzu would theorize, the best way to deter the enemy from attacking you is to be very, very powerful and create invisibility of being impenetrable. So that is why we need the Chiist Mahadum education, so that we can build the consciousness across. And one way of building that consciousness is that we have to replicate. Like I said, Chiist University will give us the opportunity to rediscover Africa afresh for the rubrics of the past. For instance, there are so many industries that were killed by the colonization of Africa. And no African nation have tried to reinvigorate these trades, these industries. These industries, some of them are still there. We have repackaged them as like our local clothes, Adire and others. There's so many, 1,001 of them. So the first thing is to create a consciousness that cuts across individual, ethnic, national consciousness to group consciousness as African people. Then when you have that consciousness, you now attain the level of consciousness that you have to defend yourselves. The way, most possible way of defending yourself is when you are resilient in your mind, when you build strong industries, where you are wealthy, to ensure that you can put your money to do research in any area that you want to prosper, and that in any area you foresee that is going to prosper in the future, not just today. What we call forethought. Now, by the time you create a bulwark of a foundation where people can stand and then launch their potentiality to creating what will be useful to self and to the community of the African people that will eventually benefit the community of the world, then it comes to a point that invade you becomes difficult. Difficult in the sense that you are conscious of the mentality of the people you are relating with. And because you have your spirituality, you are not only at the receiving end, they too partake in your own indirect aggression. Because whether we like it or not, what we are doing right now is encroaching on some people's consciousness. Our ancestors may not like to talk about it. If you gave them the opportunity, they wouldn't have been talking the way we are talking. But the necessity is the mother of invention. So we are in a world that we must keep talking our worldview. We must spread it.
Yes.
He took it to the UN those days. After hanging, I doubt if any other person has done so. We need to get to the UN. I think, I remember, Dibias once did that. But I don't know whether it's at the UN, but in some other fora, either in East Africa or somewhere in Europe. I remember, I think last year or so, you gave that report. So we need to be at the UN. We need to establish schools, not just Chiist Mahadum. Like Dibias said, that's Dibias Child said, from Chiist Mahadum, a nucleus of intelligentsia will be formed that will take Chiist Mahadum teachings into different walks of life. So we need to make our worldview known, because the best form of defense is attack. The attack we are doing now is not the arsenals of war weapons, but intellectual arsenals, so that we can encroach on the consciousness of other people as well, and then mellow down their die-hard monistic mentality, so that they themselves can acquire the mentality of promoting human dignity. That is one thing good that Chiist University, through its consistent education, training and retraining, and then popularizing. We have to be on this. To come to a time, this program will not only be here. We may have other groups handling, like Dibias handling this particular Ndumodu show. There may be other groups still under Chiist University, affiliated, talking about different ideas from the African spiritual perspective, encroaching on other people's consciousness, selling our worldview to them, and making them to imbibe the mentality of Onyebiri Bayabiri. This is the challenge we have for the world. Because as one time they talked about white man's body, it is now time for the black man's body to re-educate the world. Like Fela sang, to run the Fela sang say, some 21 years ago, that's some years ago, Englishman, they take Connie, they feel my nyash. Wouldn't be that ignorance. Now it's time to educate them. So you now began to educate them. So it's our time to re-educate the world. And that is the most potent way of building our defense. Being conscious of who we are and spreading who we are to the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I want to share this.
That is so beautiful.
I want to share this because thank you, Dibias Child, here. Awesome. I want to share this. I just want everybody to understand. Once we as a people begin to present who we are from a different perspective, or we're forcing the world to look at us differently, or at least having the rest of the world acknowledge that everything they thought about us is wrong, you're going to start finding people fighting you. I've been laughing recently. Dibias Child, I've been getting all kind of notices. Even if we say anything we say, somebody says, "Oh, that's their idea." You don't have a monopoly on good ideas. You don't have a monopoly on values. So you have people who say, "Oh, that was my thought," and they took my thought. Yeah, come on. But anyway, just expect a lot of people to start lashing out. How dare you? But this is something whose time has come, and I just want people to understand we're not going to refrain. We're not backing down. We are going to move forward. We are going to go as far as Chineke wants us to go, which is very far. This is for our children. This is for our people. And this is for everybody who wants to learn about us. We are not stopping. So they can try whatever they want to try. It doesn't matter. And I just want those of you, when you start reading all the nonsense that I'm seeing, just ignore them. It's it's like when people they don't expect much out of you, and you start showing that you have a lot to offer, then they get a little belligerent and ignorant, so to speak. So, but anyway, here's another point about attending the Mahadum is I think the greatest benefit for me personally, and I assure you that you as a student will feel as well, is that you will carry this. What you've learned, you're going to carry with you. Even if you attended or will attend a larger university somewhere, you will find it a little bit hard to embrace falsities about African people. You'll find it a little bit difficult to do that. You'll find that you don't quite fit into what the peg that you were putting. You find out, this is not really true, because the people who are going to be teaching you, these people are knowledgeable. Department of Chiist Education, Dibias UD is going to be working with Dibias from Nigeria, from Dibias who know about African spirituality. They're going to be working with him. The same thing with Dibias Chiedozie. People who understand African culture and history are going to be working with him. So by the time you're done, you're just going to think differently. Some of the classes you're going to take, emphasize those principles that you must do. It's like an unlearning adventure. Many of you have already attended high school. If you're in your teens or whatever, you just graduated from high school. If I know you have not been taught anything African. No. As a matter of fact, there are some universities right now that are saying do not even teach our Black children history, because see, it's empowering to know your history. And when people want to take that from you, there's a purpose, there's a reason. You don't agree, you don't allow people to take from you. Instead, you re-embrace or you present yourself to them. Let them look at you differently. You also learn how to use the spirituality when working in any field. Any other field you find yourself in, like the field of education or whatever it is that you're studying, criminal justice, sociology, anything that you're working in, you're going to be able to apply these principles. And I'm telling you, your attitude will change completely. Your attitude will change completely. You're not going to be very willing anymore to accept anything. Something will happen to you that you're not used to. It has to do with growth. It has to do with taking personal responsibility for your growth or lack thereof, your psychological well-being, even your financial well-being, your everything, your health, everything, your mental well-being. See, when people are in the position to start thinking according to something that is related to who they are, people start even respecting you more. I tell you very honestly, I get a lot of respect. I get a lot of respect from people who understand. You see, I get a lot of respect because I don't back down. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to be rude. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate who you are. It just means I appreciate me. I appreciate me. I must appreciate me for somebody to appreciate me. If you don't appreciate yourself, if you look down on your things, and if you succumb to pressure to become a part of something that has nothing to do with your reality, you're not going to be appreciated, because as a matter of fact, those people are going to see you as somebody so vulnerable that they can use. You become a tool. Your mind can be plucked and anything can be put in there because you are open. You're very vulnerable when you don't embrace yourself. This is what I want to see. This is what we are promoting with the Mahadum. Ahan Keokanyoha says, Floriet, by all means go, do what you have to do. But you have to stop at one point and ask yourself, what is my vision? These things that I'm embracing, what is the purpose? What does that get for me? Just because Joe Blue here likes you more because you are like him, it doesn't mean anything. Because in a heartbeat, you will be abandoned. You don't matter. You're irrelevant. There's nothing they can pluck from you. You're just one of those hangers-on. But if you have something different, something original to offer, you become a part of the group that is necessary. And sometimes this is what we're allowed to happen to ourselves. Then we wonder, why do they not respect me? Black lives matter. Yes, Black lives matter. To whom? To you? Let your life matter first before you expect other people for you to matter to them. So you can't be screaming Black lives matter, and if I show you a mask, you freak out. You can't be claiming Black lives matter if I say my name, you freak out. It's true. How come your name? How can you can't pronounce my name? Can I call you Susie? No, don't call me Susie. Can I call you Owa? No, that's not my name. So why is my name so difficult that I have to switch it for you to appreciate me? No. You stick to who you are. Present yourself as you are. This is Mahadum. This is what we're saying. I am who I am. Take me or leave me. Let me share one thing right quick. The reason why it's so important that many more African people are educated in the spiritual way of our people. The baboons were out there playing. And this tiger, because he's tiger, when he chases one baboon, right? He's able to catch the baboon and kill it. So the baboon is afraid of the tiger. But then this particular day, all the baboons were together. And as soon as this tiger chased one, the head of the pack turned around. It was almost like there was a call. The rest of the baboons pounced on him. They were all over him and he had to run away. When you walk as you see what I'm saying, and I'm not just mean that you when you come together to fist fight. When you come together with this mind, nobody can touch you. They will try. You don't have time to fight. You don't have time for arguments. All you have time for is to present the truth. And if they don't like it, it's just too bad. Because you're presenting who you are. You see, somebody here, Akachi said that she stands as who she is. And I know, I talk to her sometimes, some people, they just can't even fathom. How can she think like that? What makes her think so independently? Be like us. Have you ever had a Jehovah's Witness come to your door?
Yeah.
The other day, the Jehovah's Witness came to my door. He came to present God to me. I just stood at the door and listened to him for a little while. He wants to tell me he's going to help me find God. So I told him, well, thank you for coming, but I wasn't looking for God. I already found God. So go to my neighbor. Maybe he's looking for God. I already know me and Chiso. I'm already there. He's just like, okay, thank you, ma'am. And he walked away.
Yep.
You don't try to find the way for people who already know the way. I know my destination. I know where I'm going. I don't need you to find the way for me. African people, if we can pay attention, we already know the way. And it's as long as we are the interesting person is that it was a black man and a black woman who came to my door for me to find their God. Now I just had to tell them, no, I already found God. He said, what does that mean? I said, Mona Chiisto. That means right where I am, God is. I walk with God. Oh, do you need this? I said, I don't need that. I don't need your paper. I already know who God is. Thank you. But they share that with us. I don't need your paper. I don't need your paper. I already know who God is, you know. And as long as I know who God is, there's no argument, gadget, you know. So that's what Mahadum will do for you. No matter what your religion is, if you attend Mahadum University, trust me, Jehovah Witnesses will not come to your door. You tell them where to go in a polite way. Thank you. I already know what I want. I already know who I am. Your thoughts, Dibias?
Yeah, I just remember that.
Dibias, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
We can hear you.
Yeah, as you are talking and educating, I remember that if you go back to our culture, there are principles of the earth that we understand and our ancestors understood, and they did certain things that if you came to a particular locality and you want to pass with war weapons, you are transfixed at that point. Because I remember during the Civil War, as I was told by my parents, the other villages around my little village were taken by the Nigerian soldiers, but they couldn't penetrate my own village because of the principle of earth gravity, that they knew about it, and they buried it in their own knowledge. They buried the secret in Ajala. You know, other villages had Ajala, but they didn't have the secret about gravity. But the Dibias in my place had a knowledge of gravity. So they put it along the Ajala. And what it does is that once they put the range and they cast the range, whatever range they cast, if you get there with war weapon, you are transfixed. Anything dangerous, either it is spiritual, occultic, or physical war weapon, you can't cross. And you could be transfixed there until somebody comes and does something to free the individual. So there are a lot of knowledges of the past, ancient secrets of the past, that we need to tap through Dibia, the study of Dibia. And the information here is that, like Dibia mentioned, that you will have the opportunity, including myself, all of us, to go back to our ancient past. It is in the people's Dibia, their ancient spiritual practices. That's where the knowledge, the secret for science and technology are hidden. In fact, science, technology is a bit open. You can pick it here and there. But the knowledge of the ontology, the spirituality on which that particular technology is anchored, is in Dibia. Yes. And a lot of knowledge is there in Dibia that you do not even need to, if you understand the principle of earth gravity, you can ignite it. Somebody is firing missile and it's not going beyond his domain. He may not even fire. And if you want to teach the person a lesson, you ignite the principle such that if the individual fires, it explodes in his domain without getting to your domain. You know, this is because of what I call the motherhood earth science and technology. I call it motherhood earth science and technology. It's in Dibia, but it's not released to just every Tom, Dick, and Harry, so that it is not bastardized. Now, one of the things they accuse Dibia, the African Dibias of, the Babalawo, what they accuse them of is they accuse our ancestors of secrecy. And I say secrecy is the order of knowledge. You can't stand as an outsider to my home and want to know what is inside my home. But if you make yourself my friend, then you can come into my home. The university system is also built on secrecy. From primary school, you are initiated, you go to primary school, you register. Then when you want to enter the university, you must have certain credentials and under which you are evaluated. Then you come in, you matriculate. Matriculation is initiation. Then you convoke until you get to the PhD level. Then they give you something that looks like a masquerade gown and a cap to wear. what you have become is that you have become an arch witch at PhD level. You're an arch witch. That's what you are. So, but we don't seem to understand that they are digging up all these practices from their own ancient past. But because we are not educated in our own ways of spirituality, we are not living within the confines of our own spirituality, and because we have allowed ourselves to be looked down, trampled upon. So whenever we bring up any genre from our own spirituality, our own ancient past, well, we look down on it. And once you don't have that belief in what you have, there can be no group consciousness. And once there's no individual consciousness, group consciousness, there can be no potency. And so, to defend ourselves, there are a lot of things we can use in defending ourselves. Knowledge of the earth gravity, we had it, and it's still there. But it's only when they know that you are going to use it only for the purpose of preserving life, human dignity. That's when you are let in. If they know you are a vandal who will use the knowledge, vandalize it, use it in a negative way, you cannot be let in. And if you say that is a secrecy, I say, well, I've been drinking Coca-Cola and I don't know the formula for Coca-Cola. And I know people who have done chemistry. They don't know the formula for Coca-Cola. They don't know the formula for stout. Each company keeps its own secret. Even in my own house, my wife makes some perfume. When I ask her, she said, why are you asking me now? You want me to lose the secret of my trade? So if you want to prosper in life, you just have to keep that thing that makes you who you are. You have to keep it secret. And if you ask me, you say, we are too secretive. I say, well, we are playing like God. God has initiated the world, established the principles. We are the ones busy bothering ourselves, trying to look for God, try to understand those principles. And no matter how you search for God, you can never see God. The day you try to see God as God, then you have to join the ancestors. And once you join the ancestors, you can't come back with the knowledge of who God is or what God is. So for things to have meaning, there must be that inner path that we do not know of. That inner path that we do not know of constitutes the ideal that we keep searching for. And life without ideal would not be very, very sweet for us to live in. And so what we need to do is that we have to take initiations into the institutions of the ancient past. They are not cults, they are institutions. And nobody's killed in those places. When I went for my first initiation, I was being bamboozled by my own people. Oh, you are going to kill you there. You are going to, when you return, you are not going to have progress. But when I went there, the opposite happened. I said, well, young man, you are the only one that came to search for knowledge. Others came to search for wife, power, money. You came for knowledge. We will use everything we have to protect you. We have our eye on you. Anybody who scratches you has scratched us because you are promoting us. So, and that is the promise they gave to me. And anywhere I go to learn secrets, they say, look, the ancestors will protect you. You will not die. They make prayers for me. They are looking for people to come and take initiation and reform these things and take them to the contemporary level and beyond. So that's the challenge that the Chiist University is offering us. So that once we get there, well, the way is far and deep. It is not something that we finish in a lifetime. Just take your own little portion and you define it and keep working on it and make sure that there is somebody behind you who succeeds you. That way we will succeed. They will.
Very well said. You know, every time
they
you
will,
open your mouth and
they
say
will
something,
very well said.
Yeah, we're all at attention. Well, I want to say something. Did you want to say something? Go
ahead. I wanted to talk about this part of it. Just a minute. There's a part that I want us to talk about, and that is the fact that attending a spiritually themed school usually doesn't cost as much as a regular school, even though sometimes we think it does, but it really does not. For us, we're on a quarterly system, and it is $1,500, okay, for the quarter. One of the things that we're trying to do is get a benefactor. I'm in touch with a benefactor, and by God's grace, it will allow us to offer some students who may not be able to do so to get scholarship. I've also been approached by students who really truly want to attend, and the question is, how can I attend the university if I'm not able to afford it? Well, we have individuals who are enrollment counselors. You can apply to be an enrollment counselor. And an enrollment counselor is the person who brings students into the organization. And depending on your performance, you'll find that you'll be able to attend the school at no cost to you. So there's always a way. But if you look at regular schools, it's a whole lot more expensive than our university. All right. Your cost includes your books, it includes your textbooks, it includes all of this. There may be some extras that you may have to purchase for your particular class, but a lot of that money covers the cost of your books, and it covers the cost of attending class. All right, all those things will be on the website. So for those of you who think, oh my God, it will be so expensive, it truly is not that expensive to attend Chiist University. Yudi, you had something you wanted to ask.
No, I was just kind of adding to...
Yudi, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to add to what Dibias Chidozie was talking about. And I think it's important to note that Chiist Mahadum is bringing Dibias into the mainstream, so that when you talk about Dibias, it's not a term that when you talk about it, it conjures up all this on the world type misunderstanding or misconception of what the Dibias is. A Dibias is a master of knowledge, and it refers to traditional healers, doctors, experts in different fields of human endeavor. So, we are here to bring some of these things, misunderstanding about African culture and spirituality that people have been shying away from because of misinformation, and bringing them into the mainstream, via the vessel of Chiist Mahadum. Culture is the backbone of a people. Now, let me repeat, culture is the backbone of a people. Backbone of the Arabs is Islam. Backbone of the Indians in the Orient is Hinduism. Backbone of the Japanese is Sikhism. Shintoism. The backbone of European culture is Christianism, even though it had revolved to indigenous tribe having their own spirituality that was either pagan or from the Norse culture. But through a policy of blood and iron, Catholicism, through its policy of conquest, went after these cultures and religious cultures and destroyed them and made themselves king. For people of African ancestry, we're good at telling someone else's story, but have a difficult time telling ours. As OKDB always says, the greatest tool in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And enter Chiist Mahadum to re-socialize your mind and get all that colonized way of thinking out of our psyche, and hopefully exercise Stockholm syndrome that is pervasive in African communities globally. Our Chiist Mahadum will tell the hard truth. You may not want to hear it, but it is what it is. We explore how we got here, and then try to figure out how we could get out of the quagmire that we find ourselves in, both in leadership, in our educational system, in the lack of infrastructure that you find in Africa. Chiism is taxed with people having a pan-African mindset. You know, if you go to any university in the world, you know, maybe not every university in the world, I don't necessarily don't know what they teach in Japan. I doubt if they teach African culture over there. But I will imagine, you know, for business reasons or economic reasons, they probably have curriculum that deals with Africa, our capacity, the way we think, so that the Japanese will understand us more, you know, when they come in to ply their trade in Africa. It's always a good thing to understand the psyche of the people that you're trying to do business with. So I'll imagine that they teach a little bit of African culture or way of thinking in Japanese institutions. You have institutions that are not of higher learning that talk about Pan-Africanism, Pan-African institutes, and all that stuff, and that's just their main concentration. But Chiist University is going to be the first Pan-African institution of higher learning and a think tank for people that are really interested in helping to decolonize the minds of the African and also showcase our contributions to civilized behavior and dispel some of the misconceptions about the African, about our history. It's very important that this institution flourish, that Chiist Mahadum makes the biggest impact in our communities as possible. And we must encourage, or at least we encourage everybody out there, those people that are tuning into our programs, people that are listening, people that, you know, have heard about us, to support this effort as a reemergence of Africa through Chiist Mahadum. Chiist Mahadum is very critical as being the first African-centered institution in the world. Other countries or cultures have institutions that are dedicated to promoting their culture, their spirituality, their way of life, their history, so that its citizens have a clear understanding of what and who they are, and also to help the world to understand them. Because through understanding, we have better relationships with our neighbor. Through this understanding, we understand that we are God to our fellow human beings, that we should treat everybody the way we would like Chineke to treat us. We promote unity, harmony, not just in African communities all over the world, but for the world all over. Because what's missing in the world today is understanding. Let me reiterate, we talked about this in the beginning of the show. And he said, the true definition of civilization is not technological know-how or economic opulence, but when two people can see eye to eye, tolerate each other, and defend to death the right of the other to survive. Therein lies the true definition of civilized behavior. This is what we're trying to do in Chiist Mahadum, to stress that culture is the backbone of the people, to show the world that Africa has always had something to offer the world, so that we can have a feeling that we have something to flaunt about our culture, about our way of life. And finally, through this vessel, Chiist Mahadum unite all humanity, and particularly people of African ancestry, under a common cultural focus. Because when our interest is at stake, we need to have something that we could coalesce around to defend ourselves. And that something is African spirituality and spiritual culture. That something is Chiism in all its variations. That's it. That's what I had to say. I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you, Dibias. We have a question by Musa Ododo Abdul Rahman. Musa is of the Muslim faith. And we are so proud of you, Musa, for looking beyond the scope of religion and wishing to enter a whole new dimension. And that dimension is Chiism. Learn, because no matter your religion, you're welcome. And no matter your religion, you're able to embrace African spirituality, African values, African wisdom. So as an African man, I'm so proud of you that you're looking beyond your current religion and just saying, okay, I need to learn about my people. So he wants to know, how can he become a Dibia? Well, to become a Dibia, you have to attend through this university. What you're seeking is you have to attend Chiist education, which Dibia UD is the dean of that department. So hopefully, because he has also expressed interest in attending the university. And Musa is going to be one of our enrollment counselors. Can we give him an applause? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We're giving applause. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah.
Yes. They're all eager to become enrollment counselors and all of that. So we are very, very proud of them. And yes, that's if you want to become a Dibia, that's one of the processes, is to attend the University Department of Chiism, Chiist Education, and then you'll start being directed, taken into that direction. So I'm very proud of you. We're looking forward to you registering and attending the university. I'm going to take a quick break right now and play a short video, and we will come back and continue our conversation. This is very important to play.
A person's health and well-being go beyond physical health. Good mental health is the energy for the body to function properly in the absence of disease. Spiritual beliefs powers mental health. Spiritual beliefs that are based on individual and collective values are culturally diverse, and each is good for the mind. Education does not incorporate the culture of a people, renders the students glorified servants and educational vineyards of the other cultures. Chiist Mahadum, or university, has come to raise spiritual culture as the foundation for effective academic achievement that will render graduates the stalwarts of African culture mindset and become the change agents in African society. A mandate for both creating relevant economic opulence and development of African-centered nation formation and building. Join our department deans as they share exciting benefits attending this African-centered university.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That was great. I loved it. That was excellent. Love that. It's a journey worth taking. I'm so excited. And I can't even begin to imagine where this is going to take us. I do believe that the two folks on the screen, Dibia, Dr. Owonya Hosimire and Dibia Chidozie, I couldn't ask for better generals on this journey to reclaim the African mind. So I'm so happy. I'm proud of you guys. And I'm loving the fact that we're all pretty much wearing white today anyway. So that just says one good thing. Greatness is on its way. We coordinated without saying anything about it.
Let me apologize. Let me, can you guys hear me? Let me apologize because I don't know if it's on my end or if you guys experience the same thing, but there's a lot of choppiness going on, and it all, you know. So what I'm going to announce right now is that beginning next Sunday, we are going to be streaming only from YouTube. Okay, we're not going to be streaming from Facebook anymore, because for whatever reason, it's just it's too much of a problem, whatever is causing that. So we're just going to streamline it and just do it on YouTube. So when you it's important, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Chiism African Spirituality, Chiism Live, please do that right away. We're going to make it easier to Dibias to make it just plain Chiism Live, no African Spirituality. Take all that out to make it easier for people to understand, you know, to know exactly where to go. But I've been disappointed with StreamYard, and I've been disappointed with Facebook at this time. And I've reached out to them to find out why it's always very choppy. But we don't get that kind of problem with YouTube. So at the moment, until further notice, Chiism Live will be on YouTube. Even my Ntomodu show, all of that will be on YouTube until we see that there's an improvement in the other platforms. Okay, I'm sorry, UD, were you saying something else?
No,
somebody did make a comment.
No, I was just talking about how excited I am about this journey that we're undertaking as a culmination of what the dreams of African greats like Ahain Keoke Onyoha, you know, the Patrice Lumumbas and the Kwame Nkrumahs and the Julius Nyereres and some of learned, you know, compatriots like Dr. Henrik Clark, Sheikh Anta Diop, to embark on this journey to found the first African-centered university in the world. It's a big deal, folks. And so hopefully we will get the support that we need to make this dream, you know, become a reality, which it already is, but to foster a whole lot of success as we, you know, continue to grow and
already a success. What you talking about?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think we're already a success, but I'm talking about in terms of the growth potential, you know, of influencing as many people of African ancestry as we possibly can, so that we could change a lot in this world and see ourselves differently. So I'm very proud, very, very proud of our ancestors. Let's stress it again. Our ancestors, the reason why we're here is because of what our ancestors has laid down. The knowledge that we have is because of our ancestors. Everything that we are, everything that we do, things that we've learned from our past, our present, our future, is because of our ancestors. Without our ancestors, without ancestral reverence, we are nothing. Nothing at all.
That's right.
Other cultures do it.
That's right.
When they talk about their history, they talk about their ancestors. When the Romans talk about their history, they're talking about the Caesars, Julius Caesar, Augustus, you know, good or bad, Pompey, all that kind of stuff. Genghis Khan for the Mongolians, Chinese, so on and so forth. We should do the same thing because there's value in ancestral reverence. And hopefully through the exercises in Chiist University and Chiism, we will be able to showcase what our ancestors have done for us. So I'm happy, I'm proud, and thank you guys for, you know, being major generals in this fight for opulence.
Yes. And thank you for, I just want to give a special shout out to Akachi Azubike for all her contributions and her consistency And certainly Ukuna Ugochukwu, oh my goodness, what can I say about you? Thank you so very much for your constant support. And of course, Musa Ododo, how wonderful to have you here. I hope you continue to come back, and I do hope that you enroll. Akimi bro, hey, what can I say? You continue to support us. You know, we have all these supporters, you know, and we are very, 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 there's some of them that are different venues, but we want to thank all of you and hope that you will join us next week. As I indicated, we are going to be on YouTube only next week. The other thing is, remember, November the 15th, put that on your calendar. Go and register. This is the day, that's when the registration begins. We are getting ready, the deans, we're going to have our meetings. We're preparing for you. It's going to be a nice welcome when we actually start classes, but we're definitely preparing for you. I am so excited about the interest we're generating. I'm telling you, people have contacted me. How do I get in? How do I attend this school? All that. It's just exciting.
It's beautiful.
You know, it's just exciting really because we are in something really. I have some people from Uganda that contacted me, and they want to know how the university, you know. So it's open, just so you know. It's not just for African Americans and just for Nigerians. No, it's for everyone around the world. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman from China who wants to attend the university, and he keeps sending me notes wanting to know how can he register. You know, so I have to remind him, go to the website. So and then we have mail from different people who have gone to the website to let us know their interested. So, you know, we've got interest, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And I'm very proud of our Dibias, Dibia UD. What can I tell you? I can't wait. You know what? I can't wait for your class to start, because people are in for a treat. Dibia Chiidozie, boy, oh boy, you're going to open some minds. I know that. You're already doing that at Unilag, but now you're going to do it even on a higher scale, because now you're going to be talking to people who really, really want to learn it, and who really will benefit tremendously and become kind of people we need to build up our communities. Now, we have just about 2 minutes. Do we have anybody who has any questions from amongst the individuals who have attended this session today? If you have any question, we have about, let's say about 2 minutes to answer your questions. If you have anything, while we're waiting for them, UD, 1 second, 1 minute for your closing statement. 1 minute for your closing statement. 1 minute only.
Yeah, culture is the backbone of a people. It is your best defense against imperialism. And when you attend Chiist Mahadum, you get to experience African culture, history, knowledge, traditions. It is important that we understand that it is only within the fulcrum of your culture that education has meaning. You may have many doctorate degrees string to your names as handles, but if you're ignorant about the spirituality and culture of your race, which is the fulcrum around which the totality of human culture gyrates, then you're truly not educated. Literate, but truly not educated. Chiist University is a Pan-African centered university, and it is for everyone that wants to promote
your
unity.
minute is up. Your minute is up.
There we go. That's it.
Your minute is up.
I keep going on and
thank
on.
Thank you. Dibia Chiidozie, you got 1 minute. You got 1 minute.
Yeah. I'll just say on this journey.
That's all you got. You have less than that.
No problem. On this journey of comprehensive, holistic retrieval of ourselves as individuals, as a group, we need consistency, endurance, and perseverance. These are the things we need to do so that we can go all the way mileage. Thank you. There one.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to have conversations about Chiist Mahadum.